In 1929, inside the quiet halls of Istanbul's Topkapi Palace, a discovery was made that would echo through history. Tucked away for centuries, a map drawn on gazelle skin, signed by a 16th-century Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis, was about to challenge everything we thought we knew about the Age of Discovery. This wasn't just any old map. It showed coastlines with a level of detail that seemed impossible for its time. It depicted lands that weren't supposed to be fully charted for hundreds of years. How could a cartographer in 1513 know so much? This single document has become one of the most fiercely debated artifacts in history. Is it proof of a lost, ancient civilization with advanced knowledge? Or is it simply a brilliant, misunderstood masterpiece of its era? Today, we're diving deep into the mystery of the Piri Reis Map, separating fact from fiction and exploring what this incredible document truly tells us about our past. To understand the map, we first have to understand the man behind it. Piri Reis was born around 1470 and was far more than just a sailor. He was a high-ranking admiral in the Ottoman Navy, a respected intellectual, and a meticulous cartographer. His famous book, the Kitab-i-Bari, or Book of Navigation, is a stunningly detailed guide to the Mediterranean Sea, a testament to his skill and dedication. So when he created his world map in 1513, he was at the peak of his craft. What makes his map so fascinating is that Piri Reis himself tells us how he made it. He wrote in the map's margins that he didn't draw it from scratch. Instead, he compiled it from about 20 different source maps. He mentions using charts from Portuguese explorers, Arab maps, and even, he claims, maps drawn in the days of Alexander the Great. This last claim is a bombshell. Was he referring to genuinely ancient charts passed down through generations, or was it just a figure of speech for very old maps? This single note opens a door to incredible possibilities. At first glance, the surviving fragment of the map, which is only about 1/3 of the original, is impressively accurate in some areas. It shows the western coasts of Europe and North Africa, as well as the coast of Brazil, all in remarkable detail. For 1513, this was cutting-edge geography, likely sourced from the latest Portuguese and Spanish voyages, perhaps from charts captured in naval battles. But the real controversy, the part that fuels countless theories, lies at the very bottom of the map. There, a landmass stretches out where we would expect to find Antarctica. The problem? Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until 1823 centuries later. What's even stranger is that some researchers, most famously Professor Charles Hapgood in the 1960s, argued that the coastline shown on the map doesn't look like Antarctica today. Instead, they claimed it resembled the coast of Antarctica under its massive ice sheet, a feature we only mapped with modern seismic technology in the 20th century. This idea was electrifying. If true, it would mean that someone had mapped the Antarctic coast before it was covered in ice, which would place that knowledge thousands, if not millions of years in the past. This became the cornerstone of the ancient advanced civilization theory. The argument goes that Piri Reis had access to a map created by a long-forgotten seafaring culture that possessed technology far beyond their time, a culture that existed before the last ice age. It's a mind-bending idea, but mainstream historians and cartographers offer a much more grounded explanation. They argue that the landmass at the bottom isn't Antarctica at all. Instead, it's most likely a distorted representation of the South American coastline. In the 16th century, calculating longitude was incredibly difficult. Sailors could figure out their latitude pretty well from the stars, but longitude was mostly guesswork. Without accurate clocks, maps from this era often had massive east-west distortions. So, the theory goes, Piri Reis was trying to fit the recently discovered coast of South America onto his map. Lacking accurate measurements, he may have simply bent the coastline eastward, running out of space on the parchment, and forcing it to wrap around the bottom. In this view, the resemblance to a pre-ice Antarctica is just a coincidence, a case of our brains seeing a pattern that isn't really there. The map is still an amazing achievement for its time, but it's not evidence of prehistoric astronauts or a lost Atlantean civilization. But the debate doesn't end there. Even if we set aside the Antarctica theory, other elements of the map are deeply puzzling. The level of detail for certain parts of the South American coast and some Caribbean islands seems far more advanced than other maps from the same period. How did Piri Reis achieve this? He told us himself. He used other maps, including captured Portuguese charts. This raises a new question. How did those early explorers create maps that were, in some cases, so accurate? This is where the idea of inherited knowledge comes back in, but in a more plausible form. Proponents suggest that advanced geographical knowledge might not have come from a single lost supercivilization, but was passed down and fragmented through various ancient seafaring cultures. Think of the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, the Minoans, ancient peoples who were masters of the sea. It's possible they explored far more of the world than mainstream history gives them credit for, and fragments of their charts and knowledge survived for centuries, passed from culture to culture through libraries like the one at Alexandria. These weren't global, high-tech civilizations, but dedicated mariners whose practical knowledge of winds, currents, and coastlines was their most valuable secret. Over time, this knowledge could have been copied, misinterpreted, and eventually found its way into the hands of a 16th century cartographer like Piri Reis, who was trying to piece together a coherent picture of the world from a jigsaw puzzle of incomplete sources. This would explain why the map is a strange mix of incredible accuracy and wild distortion. Piri Reis was a compiler, a synthesizer of information. Where he had good sources, his map is good. Where his sources were fragmented, old, or based on rumor, his map becomes distorted. The ancient maps, he mentioned, might not have been from a lost civilization, but simply from the Roman or Greek eras, which themselves inherited knowledge from even earlier mariners. This knowledge wasn't lost and then rediscovered. It just went underground, surviving in bits and pieces. Another factor we have to consider is confirmation bias. Because the map is damaged and drawn with an unfamiliar projection, it's easy to project our own ideas onto it. When we're looking for evidence of Antarctica, we might just see Antarctica. Modern digital analysis helps, but it can't definitively solve the puzzle. We can't know for sure what projection Piri Reis was trying to use or how he chose to merge conflicting information from his 20 different sources. Ultimately, the Piri Reis map sits at a fascinating crossroads. It's a tangible piece of history you can see and touch, yet it points toward a past shrouded in mystery. It forces us to ask uncomfortable questions about our own history. How much do we really know about the ancient world? And how much knowledge has been lost to time, destroyed by war, fire, or simple neglect? Maybe the real magic of the Piri Reis map isn't whether it shows Antarctica or not. Maybe its true value is as a symbol. It reminds us that history isn't a straight line. Knowledge is gained, lost, and rediscovered. It travels in strange ways, across empires and oceans, carried in the minds of sailors and on scraps of parchment. The map is a testament to human curiosity and the timeless drive to explore and understand our world. Whether Piri Reis was the heir to a forgotten legacy or simply the most brilliant cartographer of his generation, he left us with a puzzle that continues to inspire and challenge us 500 years later. It's a powerful reminder that the past still holds secrets, and that sometimes the most exciting discoveries begin not with an answer, but with a tantalizing, unanswered question. What do you think? Is the map a clue to a lost chapter of human history, or a masterpiece of its time that we now misinterpret? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that bell for more historical mysteries.